Okay, we're live. Awesome. Welcome to another lesson with me, Yaakov. We're going to learn more Python. Yay. And if you're catching up on this, so this is module 3. If you're catching up and you haven't done modules 1 or 2, go check those out. You're going to need to know the stuff from there to do the stuff here, unless you already know Python. In that case, continue and see how much you already know. Cool. This image is very pretty, and now it's done its job. Great. So this is a link that is going to be shared with you in the chat, in the description. But it links to a repository called Intro to Python, and you will find module 3, just this one. And module 3 is analyzing song lyrics with Cardi B. Well, we're analyzing Cardi B's song lyrics. So, oh my goodness, I can't wait. Let's just go. And I will say, it's hard to live in the world and not hear the music of someone who's influential, but I really have never listened to her music. I listen to a lot of music, but I wanted to. And while I was doing this analysis, I got to listen to some of her music, and I like it. So, hey, this something good will come of it. Okay, so you can make a copy or do whatever. I'm just going to say, just practice running a single cell, and then it's going to ask you for this authentication to run anyways. Okay. So this is basically a notebook that I've made that you have made a copy of, and you are going to be able to run the code that I've run and see what I'm doing and see if you can do the same thing. So before we get into it, I'd like to do a quick overview of how things are structured. This should be, that should be collapsible. Okay. Okay, that should be collapsible, but it's not, so that's weird. All right, so we've got a few sections here. Let's talk about what's happening here. There's module. Okay, that's why it was. All right, so we've got at the very top, here's our head, right? And this is going to be a text box. We can open it up and see what it looks like here. So module 3, analyzing song lyrics, Cardi B. We'll be structuring, parsing, and analyzing data from Cardi B's discography. And I'm not pronouncing that right. I Googled it. It's the stuff that they've written and sang. And if that's not the right word, tell me, and I will gladly change my vocabulary. So Cardi B's done a whole bunch of cool work. We want to look at all of it. So we're going to do that. And we're going to do all of it. So outline, we're going to load data from JSON. We're going to clean and structure the data. And then we're going to visualize and explore. And we're going to do that all in, I hope, less than an hour, but we'll see how the pace goes. All right, and I'm not going to go read the code before we run it, so we're just going to go ahead and run it. So by this time, you should have your whole thing set up and running, and we're just going to go. So you're going to run this first cell. Now you can click on this little run button here, or a little nice trick you can do is you can click into a cell. Now when I click on my keypad, it makes a little noise, so I'm sorry, because my microphone is inside, and you can hold Shift, and you can press Enter, and that's going to automatically put you into the next cell. So Shift and Enter will just put you to the next one. And if you want on a Mac, and I believe and on Windows as well, and if you wanted to add a new cell beneath that, you can do Control Enter, and that would be for Windows as well. And it would be Command Enter on a Mac. No, it's Option Enter. There we go. And a hotkey for deleting is Command MD only in Google Colab. Not something we should pay attention to. Let's keep going. So what's taking place here? We're loading our usual packages, all right? We have RE, okay, we're not going to go through this. And what's taking place here, I don't really want to spend too much time on it, but this is I web scrapes the data for Cardi B's stuff, and this is on a publicly available Google storage bucket. So you are basically loading that bucket and making it equal to the variable data. Okay, this guy is not behaving. I don't know why, but we don't care, do we? We do. Oh, you have to run it. Ugh, that's silly. Okay. So, all right, this is supposed to be nested. All right, so you can fix this and make it nested properly, so now it'll collapse the way you want it to collapse. So before we go into structuring our data, I want to do a little bit of an introduction. There's a few things that the module 2 we did not go over. We didn't go over dates and times. And I wrote a really cute article about this on Medium if you want to laugh in a nerdy way. Or maybe after this, go read it and laugh in a nerdy way. But so if you want to, and there's so many puns, just go crazy. But if I show a computer this date, so 4:30 is not 4/30/2017, and change out of your thing because 4/31 doesn't exist. So if I say a computer doesn't really know that this corresponds to the month of April, right? It doesn't know anything. What it knows is that, and we're just going to print the type DT. We just know that it's a string. It doesn't really understand anything about it. So, and you can just get rid of the print, right? So this is a string. So it doesn't really understand anything. So what we can do is we can convert this string into a date time object. A date time, you guessed it right. It's a date and a time all in one. So if you use Python's datetime module, so this is imported as import datetime. I'm doing it long form. There's other shorter ways of doing it, but I'm going to say, let me get the time now. Okay, I'm going to say datetime, get the module datetime from the package, get the module from the module, then get now. And I'm just going to print now. And I'm gonna option this. I'm gonna get rid of that for now. So now this is the time of the video. So it is March 30th, 2020 at 23 hours, 53 minutes, 9 seconds. I believe this is Greenwich time. Greenwich time. Well, it's like UTC time now. Yeah, I think it's doing UTC. That's right. So your computer has a clock inside or something, analogous to a clock, and we are asking that for the time. So that's what now does. And you see here I have the year, right? I've got the month, I've got the day, I've got the hour, minutes, seconds, whoops, and then these are nanoseconds, or rather nanoseconds all the way up here, so like milliseconds, whatever. You don't question math, yeah. Okay, so that's great, but I don't really need all that. What if I just want to do the old-fashioned way? Like I want to have it look something like this, right? So if you want something that looks like this, you can do the following. You could say, I have a date-time object, right? So go here and get me the string format for the time. So it's str f time. String format my time. And what we're going to do is we're going to say, here's the format I want. So, well, let's print it out and you'll see what it looks like. And we'll play around with a few things. So that's what the new format looks like, right? So lowercase m with a percentage before it is going to be month. If I do capital M, it's going to be minutes. So that's not meaningful, right? Days, that's that, and years. I can do lowercase m b, which would be, well, then we want to change what this looks like, right? We probably want to do a different format. I can do uppercase. And there's all sorts of wonderful formatting you can do, but we are going to stick with this. Okay, we're going to stick with just month, day, year, and that's going to look like this at the bottom. So wonderful. You now understand date times. Let's take a look at what that looks like here. So what if okay, so now I know how to take a date and turn it into a string. But what if I want to do the other way around? What if I want to take a string and put it into a date? So let's do that now. I'm going to start with a string, right? April 16, 2017. I don't know. I think we're doing this because one of Cardi B's albums released on this day. So I can say, just like I string format of my times, I can do string parse time. And I'm going to put in my datetime object. And then I'm going to say, get me the format that it is supposed to be in. And then this is what I get. I get, right, year, month, day, and then the hours, seconds, milliseconds are 0. It just assumes it's null, which is not valid or invalid. We don't really care. Oftentimes we're just going to get rid of the other data entirely when you do calculations. So for the most part, this is done. And you can do all sorts of more advanced things like add and subtract dates. We're not going to focus on that. So we're done with date times. Great. Let's talk a little bit about loading it to pandas. So pandas is Python's data frame module, and pandas stands for panel data, even though I really wish that the person creating it made the name such because they love pandas. I think they do, but also it's panel data. So here's a row, here's a dictionary, and here's me, and here's a color. Happens to be a color I like, and here's something I wish I had for lunch. And here's Celethal, who's following along with the modules and participating in in-person classes. Yeah, Everyone should do it. So Celethal, we gave her the color red, and we gave her lunch should be waffles. So this dictionary can be converted into something that looks a little bit more like a data frame like cells and rows and columns, by saying create a data frame from a dictionary, right? Have a dictionary. You actually don't need to stay from a dictionary. Python will figure it out on its own, and then we'll just give it a T because I want to transpose it. So that's what this is going to look like. And that looks pretty normal. If I get rid of the T, it's going to look like this, and that's not the way I want it. I want it to be the other way around. Right? So that looks good. And so this is one way to do it. I don't love this way because it implies that the keys of the dictionary have value, and sometimes they don't. So here's an alternative, okay? And here we added Stephanie, and Stephanie's also in the class. And we give her blue, and we give her noodles. Noodles. Okay, so instead of saying just load it into pandas, we're going to do a step beforehand. I'm going to say, here's a empty list of all records, okay? Here's a list of records. I'm going to say, go into my dictionary and get me the key and the value. So the first key is going to be Yaakov, and the second is going to be this dictionary, right? Create a new blank dictionary and make it the name equal the key. And then add all the other information. So we're just going to basically merge the two. And then take this record that you added and add it to the list of records. And then let's see what this list looks like when we finish. That looks pretty good. This already can start to look a little bit like rows and columns, right? You see every item in this list has the same keys, which will make it really easy to just put them into groups. So this is thinking a little bit more programmatically and thinking a little bit more like how the underlying code is behaving. So now I can say, instead of getting from a dictionary, get it from records. And that's going to look a lot nicer. And if I do that, this is what it looks like. It's a lot nicer. I don't have to worry about my name being an index, because what if I have multiple? Well, you're not going to have multiple names in a dictionary, but what if my name is meaningful or not meaningful? What if you have multiple dictionaries that are repeating themselves, and so on? So this is as far as introduction will go. So we're done with the introduction to manipulating data. That's great. Awesome. We're done playing around. Let's go do the real stuff. Let's start manipulating some data. Oh, and it looks like I didn't name my things correctly. So I'm not going to rename them. We'll just have to pretend they're fine as we go ahead. So manipulating data. So we're actually going to be loading our data now, all right? So we're going to load data. And we're going to load the data the same way I did in the previous method. We're going to create a list of empty records, all right? It's going to be just an empty list. I'm going to say for key, value, and data items. And I feel before we go forward, let's just comment the whole thing out, and let's just see what the keys are, okay? Because, I mean, you know that I did the work, and hopefully you trust me, but what if, this is the first time you're doing this, and you want to know a good approach? So I'd say, just off the bat, let's print what the keys are. Or if you're a Cardi B fan, you probably recognize these are song names. Okay, so so this code that we wrote prior is kosher, right? Record, song name, awesome. And then I don't need to know that the rest is a dictionary. I mean, you do, but I will tell you it's a dictionary, and it's going to be big because it has a lot of lyrics, so not going to get much value in opening it. And we're just going to add it to our list, right? All records. And let's see what all records looks like when I'm done loading it. So, and I get a really nice list of dictionaries. I get the album, if there's albums, sometimes it's a single. I get the lyrics, I get the release date, I get the song name. That's pretty great. And I get the URL where this was scraped. That's fantastic. Okay, great. So I'm just going to load into pandas, and this is what it looks like. Okay, awesome. This looks a lot more similar to what you're likely used to seeing. And notice how the lyrics are very long, but it got cut off. You can change the way pandas will format your data frame, but that's it gets a little complicated. And I'd say if you really want to look at everything, just open it up in Excel or open it up in Google Sheets, or this is loading. Pandas isn't going to be great for opening up and reading text. So that's a little bit of a side note. And so we have a whole bunch of stuff. And what if we wanted to sort by the release date? So here's what we'll do. We'll do df. We'll do sort values, and we'll do release date. And the release date is right now a string, so it doesn't really know who came first, who came last. So we actually can't really sort anything meaningful right now. So that's going to tell us a little bit of why structuring is going to be useful. So okay, so we've loaded our data frame. Let's continue. Okay, it's really big, 54 songs. We can Google that. How many songs Cardi B have? It's at least 19. Okay, well, thanks. That's not really helpful. Okay, she's got at least 19. Well, we got 54, and a few of these are remixes, so that's all right. And if we want to get a description of the data, we can just do df.describe. This is fabulous. Like a lot of work up front we don't need to do. So here we go. There's 55 unique song names. The data here is not particularly structured, so there's nothing really insightful about it. Okay, but still, and let's see the data types. What are all these types? And everything's a string here, right? So that's not going to help us that much. Okay, so we'll collapse 2.1. Great, we're downloading it to pandas. This should really be 2.2, but we graduated 2.2, 2.3 a little early, so we're just gonna go straight to clean the dates. And mind you, if I'm shifting a little bit while I stand, my feet are hurting because I've been standing for a while today, and I'm just gonna keep going, see how it works, but I might just wiggle a bit. So if it gets annoying, I apologize. Okay, so we have our data here, and we want to be able to sort by date, or we want to be able to say, how has her songs changed over time? So that's, a reason why dates are important. So let's open it up. Enough talking about it. Let's just do it. Here's how it'll work. You can select a single column using the notation like this. You can say data frame, and I would encourage you to use df as your data frame. You can use different names like Cardi B data, but the issue is that it's going to make a lot of sense for you, but if you show your code to someone who doesn't know you, or you are not there and they're reading it, sometime later, df is the standard notation. And some of the sacrifices we make for our own personal comfort and understanding is the common baseline exchange between developers. So I would encourage you to use df, even though maybe it's not the sexiest. And then you can reference column names by putting in square brackets, putting in a string. You notice how this is snake case. So snake case is everything is lowercase and the words are separated by an underscore. That's standard in Python. Other languages will have different type of cases. JavaScript is standard for camel case. I would encourage you to name your columns all lowercase. Capital case, there's purpose and reasons for that, but I would say like nomenclature, you want to stick to what people will understand. I would also say there's other ways to access your column names, but I would not encourage you to do them because they don't always work, and when they don't work, you don't want to be in that position. Do it right from the upfront, and just query your columns using strings. Okay, so you can query a column. Let's just say I have date release, right? I could perform an operation on it. And if I knew how to spell perform, that would be perform would be pretty good if I knew how to do that. And then you can just say like, get me the sum, get me the count, and you can just perform it on it. Okay, and then additionally, you can use pandas has a to date time function that lets you operate on strings, lists, or anything that is groups. So let's show it in action. Right here, we show what this does. So I'm just going to show you panda to date time. Okay, so we're going to create new code. Let's just say panda to date time. And I'll say if we just do now. Great! Wow, look at that. That's pretty fantastic. And it's already March 31st in Greenwich. So all right, so that's I can get date time now. How about today? I feel like today would also be, so you could get more than one way. Or what if I say 03/30 2020? Right? It's highly versatile. It's a lot easier than the other method. Pandas will be looking for all different patterns. It's going to look for on its own. What if I have a list? What if I just say, get me 3:30 and also get me 3:03? I could be sloppy with my thing as well. 2020. So this it got me a list. It just operated on a list. That's pretty cool. So pandas to date time is a really flexible function that we're going to be using, and it doesn't really care what's inside. It's going to do its best. That's cool. So here's my column, and I can convert this to date time using one of two ways. I can either say, right, we saw how PD to date time works. To date time, we saw how it works on lists. Well, think of a column like a list, even though it's not, but think about it like a list. It'll do that, right? Whoopsies. What's our error? Oh, right. I don't think that's a real column in our thing. So let's see. Yeah. items. Release date. Oh gosh, it's backwards. Okay, great. So you see how that works here. Okay, so I can either put the column inside. There's another method which I want to use. I want to say, don't put it inside the function. Put it like this. Take a function, apply, and put this function inside every row. That's what it'll do. So you could say that, and it does the same exact thing. And we're just going to use the apply method because it's a little neater. But the truth, not because it's a little neater, because it's going to be a little neater for some of the other things we're going to be doing. So for now, I would say just apply and put in the function. So if you have a bunch of numbers, you can say apply, get count, max. You know, it prints this thing if it's in there. Okay, so here we go. And I've got the whoopsies. We already established that there is no release date. So yeah, I apologize for those who are looking at the code and having trouble, but this is part of it. Okay, so now we're gonna just see. I'm just gonna see the type. Will this work for one? Yeah. So this is, I mean, this is gonna be a date. It's gonna be a date time, but let's just print it out, right? Yeah, here we are. It's date time, and you see these are all the dates and these are all the times. Awesome. So now, if I just do data frame, and I say, okay, here's all your songs. Let's just sort by release date. So sort values release date. So it's sorted from least to greatest. So we'll say ascending, and it starts off as true. So we'll say false. And honestly, I can never remember. Just do one then the other. And here's the most recent song. So yes should be the most recent song, and the second most recent song should be press and please me. And let's just double check that. We'll do Cardi B most recent song, and it's writing on the wall, which we don't have. But you know what? We're only one behind. That's okay. There's wish. I don't know. Listen, you know, we're pretty good. We're not completely up to speed, but for practical purposes, we're doing quite all right. So we're done. We're done cleaning dates. Sweet. Let's talk about line breaks. So I don't know the technical term for what you would say this is, but let's take a look at what the first cell looks like for this data set. So we'll say df. Just get the first one. Okay, let's just get this one right here, and this is going to be, let's just get the URL. I want to show you what we're trying to copy here, so we just click here on this first link. Okay, great, that worked. So let's open this up. Oh no, they know I'm not a real. Too bad. Yeah. Okay. Oh, I don't think I typed in a real URL then. Let's just search Cardi B. Man, there's so many people who are singing like Cardi B. Okay, there's her artist. Yeah. And we're just going to search search money. Nice. Okay, so we want to count how many individual, I don't know what you would call these, like stanzas or individual lines or breaks or beats or whatever. And I don't want to enter that space and learn the wrong word, so I'm just going to call them line breaks. They're literally rhythm line breaks, but also like you could think of them as a series of beats or whatnot. So a longer would be bigger song, conceptually. So how many of these are per song? Well, notice how there's sometimes, well here it's not, but sometimes there's narrators. We don't want those. So we don't want when there's like a character talking. So we're going to build this, we're going to build this script. We're going to say like this. Define count the line breaks. So put in lyrics. Okay. The first one is you could just say, just count the number of new lines and that's it. But the issue with that is sometimes you're going to have an empty line, right? So for example, this is going to be an empty line. And that right there would be 3 lines, but it really should only be 2. And that's actually a crazy line to highlight. Wonderful. It's kind of the joy of working on this really colorful artist's music. So we're not going to count empty lines. So we're going to say, first step, like, get rid of the extra spaces at the end. So strip will take so let me show you what strip looks like in action. So I'll say, hello, and I'll do I'll put a bunch of spaces at the end, and I'll say strip. And it's going to get rid of the spaces at the end. But what if I say hello person? It's only going to get rid of them at the end. The in-between stays duplicated. So keep that in mind. So I only want to get rid of the guys at the end. And I'm going to say if x is nothing, it's just an empty string, then continue. Continue means get out of here. Get out of here. I don't want to see you. Go all the way back to where you came from and bring the next person. And so if you are looping through code and you're like, okay, yeah, but if this is it, So that a great way of doing that is if this is the condition, then continue. And continue is just going to go back to the beginning. All right, so if x is empty, it just goes and gets the next guy. So for x and lyric split, so we're going to say every time there's a new line, get me that chunk. Okay, and we're going to say if there's a bracket in that line, then that's a narrator, that's someone talking, and I don't want that. Then otherwise, continue. Then if you got this far, that means you're good. I want to count you. So we're just going to count using this notation. If you're not familiar with this, that's a great time to press pause and just search, Google this notation to see what it means. Or, I'll just do like a 10-second. If I know how many I have, and I can just say add to this. Just add 1, just add 2, just add 3, just add 4. And it's going to keep track. It's not going to, I don't have to start from 0 and okay. So, so great. And let's get the lyrics for this second line here. Okay, so lyrics 2 is, I don't know who this artist is, so we can also just Google it. Let's see what lines these are for. Okay, this is we could just search number 2. Whoops, we could just search the second row. This is going to be, the second row is going to be 0, 1, 2. It's going to be on fleek. Okay, on fleek is the one that we're going to be using. So let's go back and look at on fleek. So we'll look at lyrics. We'll look at 2 on fleek. Okay, cool. So, oh yeah, there's where it is, right? So, how many lines is this? Well, we are just going to get the lyrics and put it in. And it'll just print it because there's 48 lines. Great. So, let's just search for on fleek and let's see if it looks like something that's, we'll just search on fleek. Cardi B, just see if it looks like that's right. Yeah, it's a kind of small song, right? So we did a good job. Awesome. And that's as much as we're going to go forward. So this is just for testing, so you can just look at and practice it out. And now we're actually going to use it. So I'm going to say the lyrics end lines. And in fact, I could just change that to end lines. But right now I'm just going to keep it. You can change the columns to make it more meaningful. I'm going to say take this column and apply this function. And notice I don't have to say what lyrics are equal to, because what apply will do is it'll automatically say, yeah, you have one thing in your column, so I'm just going to put it in the function over and over and over again, like obviously. So you don't have to specify it. But if you wanted to, you could. You could say, here you can't, but there's other ways to do it, which we will. Okay, so here I'm just going to say and lyrics per lines, and let's just look at what that looks like here. Can't really see. Yep. So here's our column. Lyrics per lines. Okay, so we get some various lengths. Awesome. How exciting. We are done getting the number of lines. Let's get into number of words. This is going to be a little bit more heavy. All right, extract word counts. So we're going to create a new function. And let's just say we want to count how many times Cardi B says money in each song. Now, she has a song titled Money that's got money 70 times. That's not going to be the rule. It's the exception. So, but we still want to catch it. So, an OK method is just take the lowercase of the string and just count however many times you have money. But that's not going to be useful because let's say I want to count the times someone says, when she says I, she talks about herself, because Cardi B has a first person narrative very often. Well, there's lots of words that have I, ice cream, igloo, I don't know, whatever, iguana. So every time that word shows up, it's going to come across as another I. That's not what we want to do. So we can say, using regular expressions, I can say more specifically, I could say, get me the letter I if it doesn't have a word before it and doesn't have a word after it. Well, I'll show you what those patterns look like in a second. So this is a little bit more of a powerful method, which I would encourage you to do. So here's how you do it. You say pattern equals, we're just gonna make a pattern. And so we could say, money. And then you could say REI, which is gonna be ignore the case. So if it's capital or lowercase, doesn't matter. And we're gonna say, find all the times that this pattern exists in this string. So pattern, so we say pattern, find all the patterns in this string. And I'm going to say just get the length of that, and it's going to equal n. So if I want to count the words, I can just say count the words for money. Okay? So we know that's lowercase, it's going to be 1. What if I make it uppercase? Money. It doesn't care, right? I said ignore. What if I say money with a space? It doesn't count it. What if I say money, what if I say, well, I want to do like, money, right? So this is still going to count it. So if I wanted, I could say word equals, and I'll just say money, right? We'll keep it the same. It's still going to equal 1. But I'll say money has to be a boundary of a word. The thing you have to do is escape it. You have to escape it twice. So here we go, right? How many times is money where there's no word after it? Now that's once. So, I mean, money with multiple Y's isn't going to be an issue. But what if I say, I love money? And we can say, I love intaking money. So if I count the I's, I'll just say count I. It should get 3, right? I love intaking money. But what if I say, just go and get me where there's a word boundary here? Now I get 1. Well, I could also say, give me a word boundary at the beginning. Because what if it's like the last letter of a word is I? So that's what that can look like. So it gets really powerful. Okay, cool. So, and actually, let's just run that again. Let's also put a word with the, let's go back a step. Let's just say I love intaking extra money. Okay, so we just put a letter I at the end of a word. Okay, so now I'm going to get 4. So if I say, okay, actually, just only get it for me when it looks like this. So there's going to be a word boundary at, so I, and then there's a word boundary, meaning this would count, and this would count, because there's a boundary there. There's no letters, and that would be sufficient. Except I also want to do the left side, so I can say give me the left and the right, and I'll only get 1. Cool. So we've seen the power of regular expressions, why it's better than just counting. So without getting too caught up into it, let's take a look at some of the words that Stephanie Solethal and I thought to collect on Cardi B. So obviously money, very important. There's a few words that I'm not going to speak just yet, but you can narrate them in whatever fashion you'd like of some of the words that we thought would be cool to measure. And so here there's an ain't. So you see here, on ain't, we're escaping the apostrophe, so we don't want the regular expressions to think that this is a word itself. Notice by I, it's going to be a word boundary at the second half, and actually we should fix that to be the first, so I'm glad we did that. For you, we should do word boundary as well here. He and she, those are words that we want to measure as well. And if there's other words that you want to measure too, so let's just say, I don't know, let's just say, how many times does she say her own name? So we just say, make it a boundary, and just say Cardi. Okay, how many times does she say the word Cardi? And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, step 1, here's all my words. It's a list, right? Go through each word. And let's just first get rid of all the B's. Get rid of all the escape boundaries, because that's going to get really ugly when I start manipulating it. So I'm just going to print the column name, and let's just see what that looks like. Okay? So this looks good. All right, so I'm going to say, for every single column name, create a new column in my dictionary, in my data frame. df column name equals, now here's the cool part. I'm going to say, the column name is, take the lyrics column and apply my function I made, count words, right? Count words, I have the string and I have the money. String is automatically going to be the variable in lyrics. And make word equal this word, right? This word make equal this word. So it's going to search for it. And it's going to search for the word that I put in this list. And notice in an apply method, you put the parameters outside the function. If that's confusing to you, don't worry about it. Just let it go over you, and eventually that'll be something that will seem interesting and be relevant. But for now, just know that if you run this code, you're going to get 1, 2, however many new columns from your data set into your data set, which is going to be extremely powerful for doing analysis. So here we go. And it might take a little bit of time. This happened to go really quick, so that's great. But sometimes you're going through huge documents. It might take a long time. Okay, here's a few curse words that I think are important to note. So I'm just going to say, take these curse words. And notice how I'm using a double bracket notation. So I have I have a list of columns, then I'm going to get that list. You know how you get a column name? You can get a list of column names. So I'm going to say, get me all these column names and take the sum. But some will usually take the sum this way. I want to say, no, don't go get me the column sum. Get me the sum per row. So access equals 1 is the row. And it'll say, you have this many total of all of these words. And so let's see what that looks like here. Okay, nice. So here, this last column is the one that we just made. So what if we just sorted by, I'm just going to sort by the number of curse words. Let's see the song with the most curse words. Sort value, n curse words. And we want to do ascending equals false. Only because I remember from last time. So let's just double check to make sure we're right. And this is 48. Oh, baby. So Rollin', She Bad. These are the worst. These are not the worst. They might be really good. But these are the songs with the heaviest cursing. Wow, cool. Oh my God. I'll just scroll a bit more. Okay, so yeah, like you now can, I don't know what you can do with this, but it's cool. Okay, so there's other cool things we can do as far as analysis goes, but let's keep going because we're done. Well, let's go. We're done extracting our data. Our data is ready to roll. There's a few other things that we might be able to pull out from our data. I actually want to spend a little bit more time on this method here. So where we extracted word counts. So just like we extracted word counts, there's a lot of other sophisticated things we can do. Imagine we're going to count the number of verbs in each line. Imagine we're going to count the number of characters in each line, the number of vowels, how many syllables. Is Cardi B keeping to a meter per line? What's the meter length? What's the change of meter? How many words are above 7 or 8 letters? You know, what's the vocabulary type? These are all things that we can get at a very detailed level I mean, it'll take you a little bit of time to write a single good function, but then you can apply it on every single row, every single dimension. And right now we only have 54 lyrics, but imagine you had 2,500 lyrics, right? This is where computational efficiency is just mind-blowing. You can say, just keep going and just get me all these new columns. And that's really great if you're building machine learning models, because machine learning models need lots and lots of data. And as long as you can taking from text and coming up with different features, that'll be meaningful for a model. Unless you use a deep learning method, then it'll come up with it on its own, which is some of the ingenuity of deep learning. And I feel like if you really want to understand deep learning, like, it's do it without it, try to get the same result, and then do it with it, and like either appreciate its cleverness or realize that your model is better in certain circumstances. Okay, so point being is, just like we're counting words, I can just add more and more things to this list, and I can start generating huge data sets. And I made this list manually. I can make a list that's auto-generated, and this is where you have machines talking to itself. Now you can really start understanding what deep learning looks like. It's where this whole thing is going back and forth, and you can start creating arguments and saying, no, I know that this word isn't relevant because remember last time it wasn't like that, right? And so kind of like the same concepts that you and I reach when we think about music, or rather this particular artist. So I think this summarizes what you can do in this chapter. So module 2 is almost done. We're done. Oh, my eyes are itchy. I think I have allergies. I definitely have allergies. It's a beautiful tree right outside that is giving me, reminding me of my mortality. So we're up to the visualization part, which is totally fun. So one thing I want to say is a great way to explore visualization is to break it up into 2 steps. So the first step is best way to explore visualization is to break it up into 2 steps. The first one is to explore. So ask questions and don't really have like an end goal. Be like, I care about this, I care about that, I care about that, I care about that, and just like poke around, get messy. While you do that, come up with a hypothesis of a specific question you're trying to solve. So for example, Cardi B. So these are some concepts that we came up with earlier today. So like, how does word usage change over time? Meaning, we have all the release dates. Are there certain words appearing more often or less often? When are her songs shorter or longer? When are her choruses more complex, which is a little bit tricky of a question. How often does she repeat the same word? Okay, that's a little bit harder because we didn't measure every single word, but that's a question we can answer, right? What's the gender parity in her lyrics? Does she talk more about men or women? What's the female power in her lyrics? Well, that's an interesting thing to measure. These are sort of things that we're just gonna like think about in the back of our heads. And I would say like it's always good to like just be curious and just like open up that lid and just see what flows out. So, and then we're gonna try to come up with some specific questions while we do that. So let's go and talk about temporal relationships. So temporal relating to time. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna set the axis to time. Okay, so it's gonna be release date, not release date. And I'm making a new data frame because I don't want to touch the parent. I want the parent to stay the same. I'm just gonna make a child. I'm gonna say, great, just make a copy and just do this. Okay, so I have this data frame. It's the same exact one. I just switched the index. And what that looks like is as follows. Right, that number is gone of 0, 1, 2, 3, whatever. And now it's just the release date. So I can visualize my data in a really interesting way. So here, I'm just gonna plot everything. It's gonna look awful. So give it a second here. Whoa, right? That's crazy. But what it's doing is it's taking every single thing and it's just bloop, 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 bloop. So the thing that's dark blue here, which is the lyrics and lines, it looks like Cardi has like a cycle where it kind of goes up and down, up and down, up and down. And it's really hard to say if it's going up or if it is going up or if it isn't going down. Oh, but actually this isn't right because she releases many songs at once. And so this is just going to be a messy line chart. So it's really hard to say. But it's very clear, like, after an album, she might, like, I don't know. I can't really tell you. So, yeah, we have to figure that out. Okay, so that's really messy. What if we did that same plot, but we made the y-axis logarithmic? So instead of 0, 10, 20, we do 0, 100, 1,000. So let's see what that looks like. Okay, it's a total mess. We can't really see much. There's not really anything here to look at unless we go for a specific one. Let's look at curse words. How's curse words change over time? Okay, so it's pretty consistent, right? There's no clear trend. Let's do another one. Let's just do, let's just say money over time. It's going to overlap these two, right? Because they're both on the same axis. So money is going to be orange. So money, I mean, looks like her single. That's it, money. So money is not that interesting. What if we say Cardi? How often does she say her own name here? Cardi is, all right, so let's put Cardi on her own axis because here it's clear that there's scale is a little bit hard to come by. Okay, so Cardi, and we also, let's say PLT Y scale is log. So we're gonna make the Y scale logarithmic. So okay, it looks like recently she's using a little bit more than in the past, but not enough for us to be particularly interested. I mean, she did the most recent thing she released does not have Cardi in it, but I think that was a collaboration or a remix, so that makes sense that she's, well, or rather does it? I don't know. Okay, so yeah, I mean, it looks like there's a pretty consistent pattern here. We also don't know the density of what's out at these release dates of these albums. Let's do one more. Let's say, oh yeah, well we have lyrics and lines. We have curse words. Let's take the word I. I feel like that might be interesting. How often she talk about herself? Oh, what does I look like? It's lowercase I. Lowercase I. How much time she talk about herself? Okay, that's actually pretty great. Well, let's go with that. So actually pretty great. It looks like in 2018 she was really like there's a trend where she's really talking self-narrative, and I mean her narrative kind of drifts in and out of talking about from her own persona to maybe talking towards other people. And now, like, there was this one point where it really went up, and then now it looks like she's leaving that persona and she's talking more about, I don't know. Let's actually open up one of the lyrics. Let's just see one of the lyrics of her latest album. So we'll say DF new, because that'll be according to the date time. And, well, actually, let's just do DF. We'll just do DF, and we'll sort values. And we'll say sort values by release date. We'll do ascending equals false. Okay, let's see what that looks like. So, yes, press. So let's search Cardi B. Yes, and we really could just print it out here. We could just do lyrics. Let's just do one. Just print out these lyrics, and we can just say, print this whole thing out. It'll print it nicely. It'll print all the line breaks. Okay. So actually, she's talking herself a lot here. I don't. But yeah, I mean, I think this is a very well. I mean, this could be nothing close to what we saw earlier. This could be small compared to those numbers, so I wouldn't know. Let's actually go back to 0. Right, her most recent song had very few, but keep in mind this has 20 compared to some other songs that are much longer. So, I mean, this looks like she's talking to someone, and it's not talking to herself. So that's pretty. I mean, that shows a little bit of a change in her narrative style. Let's talk about the most recent one. Okay, so this looks like a like one of those voice like introduction types, or okay, I, but actually, yeah, well, there's a lot of I's, so I don't know. I mean, I guess we have to see the other parts of her songs and see how they compare. So that's great. We walked in with some questions, and we came out with even more questions. Let's talk about song length. Let's see what that looks like. So here's with the head. You can do df head and it'll print out the first row. Okay. So here we're going to say lyrics and lines and the number of curse words. So if I increase the number of lyrics, do I increase the number of curse words, or shorter songs? So do longer songs have a number of curse words, or shorter songs, or is it evenly distributed? So here we go. And I'm plotting. So here's what I'm plotting. I'm saying, make this the size of my graph. Just make it kind of small. Then I want to say X plot my X column, Y plot my Y column, and then label them. See? Okay. So it's kind of hard to say where all these fit in because it's pretty spread out. It doesn't look like there's any clear ball in the middle or a clear line. Sometimes you see everything stuck in one spot. So, and let's just change these dimensions a little bit. Let's make it a square. Yeah, so, I mean, you could say there's a little bit of a trend here, but there isn't, because it's just kind of spread out. So, I think this is, I mean, it shows complexity, it shows artistic complexity. So Cardi B's choice of curse words are not like, she doesn't curse every time she gets on stage. She's not, every time she has a mic in front of her, she's not cursing, otherwise you see a straight line. And it looks like she's selective about it. So that's pretty cool that there's, that level of, I don't know, that level of insight, but like there's some purpose there. I think curse words are effective language, but you don't want to overuse them. So that's great. How about if we say just go and give me all the columns. Just go and plot every single thing against lyric lines. I just want to see what that looks like for everything. Okay, so this is crazy. So song name we want to drop. So we're going to drop a few things. We're going to drop song name. Okay, let's drop that. Okay. And what's happening at this first one? Oh, the link. So let's see. Oh, we already printed the head, so let's see what the head is. It's URL. Got it. URL I don't care about. Okay, cool. I also don't care about release date. That's going to be confusing. Release date. Okay. Awesome. So let's go for it. Let's go through all the things that we got. So here are the albums, right? And that's actually beautiful. I get to see a distribution. So this is her Gangsta Bitch Music. I think that's her first album. Gangsta Bitch Music. Yeah, so let's see what year that is. That is 2016. So I think it's her first album or second. But that looks like an album with shorter music lengths. And then GBM V2 has kind of in the middle. Like this looks like her sweet spot between 50 and 100 stanzas or lines. And Invasion of Privacy looks like it has two really long ones. Okay, lyrics per lines has a perfect relationship with lyrics per lines. Obviously, you wouldn't expect anything otherwise. The lyrics per lines has a mixed relationship with money. It looks like there's a sweet spot here. This is obviously the song named Money. So money is not something that she's just throwing off the bat. For the word bitch, it does look like there's a general spot, like it kind of just lifts off here, but that's not a clear trend. I will say that it's probably a cluster. So, you should expect Cardi. Well, actually no, because it does range quite well, so it's hard to say. For here, for for this word, it looks like there's a clear S curve and then another S curve. So I mean, this is me using my imagination, but like there's also another one here. It's like little kind of pretty shapes, but also like this is when you imagine data that has meaning, you're just gonna twist it till it says what you want. So just like have fun. We're not really here to make any answers, right? Here's some more curse words. So here's mama is used very few times. There's only a few songs that have it, so that's interesting. Dance is only a few times, so dance is not. The word I is kind of spread out, and it looks like there's also like a little bit of like a dance here in the middle. But the word I is pretty spread out, so this is someone who, well, maybe a little bit of a linear relationship, but not a good one here. So the word I is not used all the time. You not all the time. He, she, Cardi. Okay, so if there's no, because if there's a long song, well, if there's a short song, if it's a short song, she's definitely gonna say at least once or twice. A few times. So. I mean, that's one insight. Yeah, so okay, we have tons of interesting, cool stuff that we can look at. Wonderful. And that's the joy of data visualization. You just get to play detective. Okay, so what about repeat words? Aha. So here are going to be all the words. We're going to see how they relate to each other. So I'm actually going to take the same code we just wrote here. I'm going to say, like this. So what's my use column? So we can just run this, and let's see what this looks like here. Okay, I mean, it's the same over here, so we're good. Oh, we don't have the word Cardi in there, so I'm just going to say the word Cardi. And also, this is from the previous draft, so what I would say is, let's get rid of the extra B's. They're not necessary. Anymore. Okay, give it a quick edit. Have fun. Yes, I love rap music. I too partake in recreational activities of the popular nature. They are quite fun. I enjoy them. So here we go. Yes, Cardi is a great. I am having fun. Okay, so these are the use columns we're going to use. So let's just print them and see if it's kosher. Good. The letter I needs to be lowercase. We learned that the hard way previously. Okay, so if you want to be following what I do, just press pause and just copy, make sure your code looks the same. So cool. So I've got my use columns. I'm just going to get rid of these guys here. And I'm just going to put use columns in there. Okay. So what I'm going to do is .core says, give me the correlation matrix. And it's going to say, here's a row and here's a column and here's how they relate to each other. In fact, let's just print that and get rid of everything else. And this is what I got, right? So lyrics and lines have obviously a one-to-one relationship. This is going to be a Pearson R correlation, meaning the closer to 1 or the closer to -1 is going to be a perfect relationship. Let's just look at what Pearson's R looks like. Pearson's R images. It's like a really good explanation for Pearson's R correlation. Looking for a really good picture. There we go. This is a good picture. Right? This is going to be, go away, Dropbox. This is going to be +1. It's going to be -1. It's going to be blah. Right? It's kind of like just how spread apart are they? And if it's a perfect line, it's going to be obviously it's going to be 1. And it's an example of, let's say, what 0.7 looks like. Okay, great. So, so great. So, I mean, you can try to, have like super sharp vision and pick out, oh, there's a good value, there's a good value, or we can use colors to help us. So, we're just going to say, well, you could try to figure out what's happening here. Let's first run it. Okay, so what we're doing is we're going to say, matplotlib has a function that's matShow. It's going to put on a color gradient. And it's going to go from dark to light. Light is going to be positive, dark is going to be negative. And it's going to show the relationships. And it won't show the numbers inside of them. You have to specify that yourself, which we're not going to do just now. So here is something that's really related. The word you and the word he. Okay, so that maybe says something about how when Cardi B is talking to someone and it's a guy, she's going to be addressing that person. How about she and you? Is that going to be related related to. So you is related to you. The word you should be related to he and she. You is going to be related to he and she. So there's a relationship. She's talking more to you with men than she's talking to. Oh, excuse me. Dark is negative. So when she's talking to people, she's not talking to men. She's talking to, well, no. When she's talking to people, she's just talking to them. And she's not talking about other people. Okay, cool. Nice. So that's interesting, right? Like, that passes the Meisner test. Let's look for any cool dots here. Okay, you and money, not mentioned. So that's interesting. We know Cardi B talks about her own money. So that's actually pretty cool that we see that distinction. Let's see. There's a lot of curse words associated with a curse word. That's obvious. Let's take a look at some other dark spots. A light spot. Here's a light spot. What's going to be another curse word? Let's see. What's this guy? Curse word and I. Okay. Well, that's clear, right? She's talking about herself. Like, this is, I would say it's positive self, positive body image. The word ain't and money, so it's probably from a specific song. He and you are both related. Okay, that makes sense. And then what's really bright here? This is not that bright. It's kind of gray. Curse words. This is a gray spot. The word dance and the word hose and the word curse words and a curse word. Okay, and yeah, so I mean, there's other really cool stuff here. And Cardi is related to the curse words. Okay, I mean, that's really much. So that's pretty cool. We kind of get a little bit of a view of what's related to what. Okay, let's talk about gender parity very quickly. So we're gonna just plot on the x-axis the word he. Okay, we're just gonna plot he on the axis, he, and on the y-axis we're gonna plot she. And this is one of these visualizations that are just best seen, and you can understand it once it's just in front of you. And because this is a little bit dense, let's also just say size equals 10. Can we just make it an arbitrary number? Let's make it 100. I don't know. Just playing around with stuff. Okay, bigger. Let's also say that like alpha, so we can see alpha equals 0.5. That's going to be how see-through it is. Okay, so we see there's a lot of stuff that's not mentioned in either place. Let's make this 2.5. Okay, cool. So what I want to do is I want to be able to like zoom in and kind of get a little more granular. So we can do that by making this a logarithmic axis. So we'll do PLTY scale is going to be log. We don't have any zeros, so we're not going to see anything for 0. And there's like other tricks for doing this, but it's clear that there's a lot of zeros, right? There's very few. Maybe the word she is talked about a little bit. The word he, so it looks like when the word she is being talked, it's usually like, but less than 5, and only once does it get to a really high number. Whereas with men, when she's talking to men, it looks like there's also a very high density at 0, but maybe there's a few more instances where it creeps up. But it's really hard to say because we don't really see that close. I mean, we could just do this. Yeah, looks like there's, 0 and 1 won't show up because that will be, maybe the log of 0 is infinity, log of 1 is 0, I don't know. Just Google that if we want it. Okay, so that's not really giving us anything insightful, so we're just going to move on. Cool, so gender parity gets a pause there. And then we move to the exact section. Love this part. So 3.2. So let's close off the explore part. So now we get to the specific question. Right now, this is the part where exploration slows down. We say, what's the exact thing we want to measure? So we saw some interesting content. We saw like when Cardi B is talking about Ash, she's talking about herself. So why don't we do that? Why don't we say, let's just do a plot. We want to say, so we'll say when Cardi is mentioning, as is she mentioning herself? So that's going to be the first question. So that's an easy scatter plot. PLT scatter, right? And we just say x equals, and let's make the x-axis, this should be something that increases, so we could say just I, and we'll say y equals df. We could say, get here. Let's just say PLT show. Okay, let's see if this is insightful. We still should label everything. So we'll do PLT X label. We'll do I, and we also make the weight heavy so we can see it. Weight, we can make it heavy. And then here, we'll just make it cool. So it's not that clear what we're looking at. So we might have to make these these scales logarithmic. So y scale. Let's make this log. Okay, so we got rid of a lot of values there, right? Because there's a lot of values that don't fit this. They don't have any observations. So let's first look at the x scale, a log. Okay, that's a little bit neater. So because there's so many that have zeros, right? Like that's actually a little bit hard to say, but and we could just say, well, we could just get rid of everything that doesn't have a mention. So actually, that might be as helpful. Well, I mean, if we do this, it'll disappear. So it actually will solve it for us. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 songs that have more than one time mention of either of these two. So what we could do is we could just say plus. We could just say +1 because we just want to have a little bit more representation. Okay, that's better. So is there clear behavior? No, it's really hard to say, right? It's all kind of falling in the same space. It's a little bit of a cluster. As we go more and more, well, let's also increase I by 1. So we get a little bit more distribution. Yeah, so we're really not getting anything clear here. So let's get rid of the x scale. Now that's also not clear. Well, we actually have all these people. So the more time we see as being used, the less we see I being used. It's hard to say. So this is the part where you probably want to use a little bit more of an advanced model and not do something that's just simple Scatterplot. But this is us having fun. Okay, so the results is inconclusive. We'll do inconclusive, and let's ask one more question just so we can get our fingers on it, and then we can kind of pull away from it. So let's just go df, and we'll just say, I think that she's using the word I more often. So we'll see df new, which we said earlier is the one with this here, and we'll just say I. We'll just plot. How often does she use the word I? Okay, there we go, right? So is her music getting more or less absorbed? So this is actually not that helpful because I have so many observations here. So instead of doing this, I'm going to do rolling, and I'm going to do 2. It's going to be 2 periods. I'll do mean. Okay. And now this I can plot. Boom. Rolling 2 is not enough. Let's do rolling 10. Okay, cool. So there was very clearly a period here where, well, do rolling 2. Yeah. We do median. It's going to look very similar. Yeah, we'll do mean. Rolling 3. And we can do min periods. There we go. Min periods could be equal to 3 as well. Periods equal to 1. Rolling 2. How about rolling 5? Let's get something pretty. Come on. Yeah, so we're just getting a bunch of nonsense. But the point is, there's definitely a period where she was using the word I more often. How about the word ass? How about that? How's that being used? Okay, so it looks like the peak was, in 2018, but it's on the rise. I mean, that's an example. So there's a few things that we can do here that's pretty interesting. Okay, and we didn't really look at the exact language of, we can do, what's the okay, so how often does she repeat a word? So here's what we can do. I can say df, and I could just say, and I'm going to use this one here. I'm going to say, get me all of the columns that we used before. So when I used all of my columns, down here under repeat words. So use columns. And I'm just going to say, here, I'm going to say, it. Okay, I'm just going to say, I'm going to get the most number of times she repeats herself. df new use columns. Okay, and I also don't want the curse words because curse words are a sum. I'm just going to say, I also don't want the number of lyrics because that's not a word she says. And there we go. And I'm just going to say, what's this one here? That's I. Okay, so we'll just do max. And we'll do axes equals 1. Give me the most number of times ever she uses that. And we'll just say plot. There we go. Okay, so here's how Cardi B's repetition looks over time. And we could do kind equals scatter. So what does it look like as a scatter plot? Ooh, no. It should work. It should work as a scatter. Ooh. Okay, the bar chart. It's ugly. It's so ugly. But kind. Scatter should work. I'm not going to bother. Oh, right, because you have to set the X and Y. So we're just going to plot it as a line. Yeah, a line is not the best. You probably want to do dots, but you know what? Bar is probably okay. So here's how her repetition looks over time. We see a little bit of, increase, and then it's back to normal. So here's a period of height where there's a very high level of repetition. So if you meet someone who's telling you, I'll listen to Cardi B, she just says one word the whole time, you'd be like, actually, according to my data, that time period is approaching an end. I mean, it's been a rapid decline until about September 2019. So, you were right until recently, but I'm afraid you're wrong. And then you'll win, and then you'll have tons of friends because everyone loves a friend who's always right. Or you can see how that goes. Okay, so that's one example of something pretty cool that we can do. And also, let's make the figure a little bit wider. Fig size equals, let's say, 12, 4. It's going to make it really wide, not so tall. Okay, that's much better. All right, I like this, right? Kind of looks like you're Manhattan, and like this is maybe where you live in this building. Okay. And what else can we do? I don't know. I feel like that's more than enough work to keep everyone busy. So let's zoom out. Let's talk a little bit about what we've learned from this, and let's wrap it up. So taking a step back, we've loaded data from all the lyrics from a musician. This is already big data. It's so big you can't look at it once, right? And the first thing we did was we loaded the data. So the first thing I did with you was I introduced you to a few data manipulation techniques. You loaded the data, and you got some stuff out of the data that wasn't there in the beginning. You got the number of words, you got the number of line breaks, you got dates. These are things that require a lot of skill. Here we had a pretty easy time, but you might find a situation where that's a really difficult thing to do. There's special characters, you're uploading it, and there's like Unicode, and there's, I don't know, like all this crazy stuff. So that's the sort of thing that people who work in data get a little crazy about. It's like, God, I'm working with this file, la 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 la. Okay, so clean data is something that you should be very thankful for. And as you start out, you should probably only work with clean data, and as you get more experience, work out in the weeds. But like clean data is hard to come by, and this, for the most part, is clean. So, yay. And you're welcome. Okay, so we cleaned the data, we got a bunch of stuff out from it. Great. The next step was we visualized, and we did a two-step approach to visualization. The first thing we did was we asked lots of questions, and we just like poked around and got like fun. And then the second thing we did was we asked specific questions, and we answered them, right? So the first question we answered was, does she talk about herself when she's talking about ass? And the answer that we got was, it's too hard to test, it's too difficult to determine. Perhaps there's a correlation, but it doesn't look like it's statistically significant, or if it is, it's imperceptible, just face value, and we're not here to do statistical analysis, we're just here to poke around and see what we can look at. We also looked at the number of times she repeats herself, and we didn't do this for all words, we just did this for selective words, and it looks like there's a period of time where there's a very high level of repetition, and now that has dropped. It could be wrong, it could be something else. Another thing we probably want to do is we probably want to say, give me actually, you know what? Let's do that right now. We probably could just say, give me this and divide it by, give me the plot, give me the max and divide it by the number of lines, because I have to say you've been, you repeated yourself, but how many times per line did you repeat yourself? Oh, this changes everything, because we should just normalize that. All right, I'm not gonna do this whole analysis again. I'm just gonna do one quick thing. Oopsies. And then we're done, because I want to finish this. So, previously on whatever channel you're watching, right? So let's create a new code. So this was the previous code. Let's get rid of this guy here. Previously on plotting data, we had this presentation. Wow, amazing. And now we're going to do this presentation. We're going to divide it by the lyrics, number of lines, and boom, Cardi B is getting less repetitious. Her lyrics might be getting longer. It might look like she's having more repetition during this period, but in fact, she has more words. Her lines are taking up more space. So there definitely is a little bit of repetition, but it's not as repetitious as maybe we would think. In fact, you can argue her words now are less repetitious than they've ever been. That's actually quite cool. And that's something that I would say we want to do for all of these words. We want to say, let's do that also here. We'll just say df. I'll just say lyrics and lines. Hopefully this will give us a nice visualization. Let's do this. No, nothing. Sadly not. But you know what? It's definitely worth a try. So, well, actually, no, nothing. Yeah. So, this kind of, and all right. I'm not gonna go start overspilling the pleasantries of my contradicting thoughts. That's not what we're here for. So, yeah. So to visualize, you want to explore, and then you want to come up with exact questions and answer them. That's great. Rock on. We are almost done. The last thing is next steps, and I didn't put anything. So I would say go do stuff and make some pictures or ask some questions and share them with me. I would love to see them. And wow, my eyes look tired. I'm really tired. So that's all we're gonna do today. Oh my God, how do I get my eyes to not look tired? I guess I just have to sleep. So that's all we got for today. And I'm gonna make some homework that you can fill out. So rock on and share, do all the stuff that people say at the end of the videos, and come back for more, because I love teaching them as long as you like learning.